Cheers. I wish I had like a little clinky sound here
I know.
because
Cheers. Wait, can I do it with my? Hold on. There we
there we
go.
go.
Cheers.
Cheers. Cheers to all of you listeners as well, as
Mhm.
Canaan and I have decided to do a little wind down for
Yes.
this episode. For those of
Yes.
you who will be watching this on YouTube, you'll see us with our wine.
And nice little
Um,
wine glasses.
just so the ones that are just listening, they know.
Yeah. I'm drinking a Cabernet. I love bold red wines.
Mm.
What are you drinking? I see you have white, but what kind?
A little Sauv Blanc. It's a pretty
Mmm.
hot day here.
Sauvignon Blanc is
I
so
just got
good
back
on a
from the
hot day.
beach
Yes.
and it
How
was
was it?
definitely, it's hot.
Yeah, you look tan since because we recorded earlier today, and since then your hair looks like refreshed. You look nicely tanned. I'm like, I was about to be like, did you shoot down to Barbados for like a few hours? It looks like it. I can't tell.
Nope, I just shot over to Avila Beach for a couple of hours.
How is that beach?
It's lovely.
Yeah.
Um, the beach is really busy today. Obviously, it's a hot day in
Hmm.
Central California.
Hmm.
I think inland is probably well over 100 degrees everywhere.
Oh my God, probably yeah.
Yeah, and so it was packed, but
Yeah.
it was so refreshing just to take a nice walk on the beach and put my
Mm.
feet in the water and
Yeah, it's so nice. Um, and what's nice about where you live, we stopped there on our way back. There's a beach there where you can just drive right on it
yeah,
and just
Pismo.
catch. Oh my, that is so amazing because you can't. I mean, I think the closest place here would be San Diego where you can do that, unless there's somewhere
Mm,
closer that I just don't know about. But
I
when
don't
I
think so.
saw that, I was like, whoa, this is insane. And I'm just driving along the beach in my Jeep Wrangler, doing stuff. I'm like, this is the cool where you live is actually quite it has a vibe that I really like. It's chill, but it's not too like lazy. Because
It's very touristy.
I can see that.
It's
A
very
lot of
touristy.
campers, a lot of transient people, I can see that, but it has a vibe.
Yeah. I found it really interesting as I'm like walking the beach and it's just jammed packed full of people and I'm checking out all these bodies, right? Everyone's in their swimsuits and
Oh yeah.
like there's these girls in their like bikini thongs and these girls are rocking these swimsuits. Let me tell you,
Yeah.
I'm just like, you gotta be in your 20s. Like
You
nobody
have
looks
to
like
be.
that for 20 something.
Pretty much.
And then
Yeah.
you see like these families where the mom is more in like the full swimsuit or she's got the cover up over, she's just
Mm-hmm.
got her junk hanging out. She doesn't care.
Doesn't give two
And I
shits.
thought, damn, this is perfect because this is actually what we're going to talk about today.
Yeah.
This
And the
body image.
Yeah, and you pointing that out about the beach. How long have you've been here pretty much your whole life?
Nah, I grew up in New York, but I've lived near a beach long enough.
Okay. Okay, in New York and New Jersey, it's much different, where it's
Hmm.
like we only have like the beach culture. What was it? Like just the summer there,
Like
basically
maybe
from
2 months out of the year if you're lucky.
maybe. But
Right.
here in LA or just in California in general, it seems like it's like beach culture all year long. I've actually gotten to the point now where I'm almost desensitized to seeing shirtless men and bikini clad women because everywhere you turn in LA or Malibu, there's like somebody with their body on full display showing sex just everywhere.
That's
And
so
that's
true.
and I know for those of you listening, you might be like, oh, that's a little bit of an exaggeration for LA. But if you're in certain parts of LA, it's everywhere. You cannot go anywhere without seeing it. It's like, and it makes you feel sometimes like, oh my God, am I good enough? Because you see these guys with they have like 8 packs, and then the girls have like
Hmm.
these perfectly formed breasts, whether they're real or fake, I don't know. And then the whole butt thing now, and everyone has like a beautiful glow. It's
Not
like
real either. Yeah.
you can end up feeling like you're just not good enough in this
That is my
town.
problem with LA. I lived in LA for 10 years. I'm considering moving back down there, but my one hesitation is not even the cost, because I actually think it's cheaper to live down there than it is up here. My
Hmm.
hesitation is the intimidation of my body. Will I end up with really bad body image issues again because I'm being compared to these people who are really fit. I'm
Hmm.
not willing to go to the gym and spend 2 hours a day in the gym to
Same
be super
here.
fit.
Yeah.
Like I got some flab, I'm aging. There's the boobs are hanging. Like, I mean,
It shit
it's just
happens as you, I mean, same here. I mean, since living, when I lived in New York, I was pretty slim because of the job that I had as a waiter back there. So I would move around all the time. But moving out here, I haven't been a waiter. And at the same time, I'm seeing all these different people walking around. And I've become more self-conscious about how I look. And it's like, okay, so most of the other actors my same age are like, showing their six packs on TV. They're like, sex gods in all the shows that they're in. If there is a character that they're playing, they're most likely shirtless. Or if I go to WeHo, all these cute young couples running around with their short shorts and their biceps. And you're just like, I don't look like any of those guys. I mean, I'm married, so I'm not too worried, but I do live in my career is so visually based. And
absolutely.
I feel like in LA, if you have any insecurities about your physical appearance, they're just gonna fly off through the roof because
Yeah.
in LA, it's all about looking good. It's
I
actually all
mean,
about looking good.
when I think of all the places I've lived, um, living in Asia where everyone is super skinny
Hmm.
and I feel like a heifer walking around, even though I was pretty thin at the time, just because
That's
everyone is so
interesting.
petite. Living in England where people are naturally a little bit thicker, which I
Hmm.
felt right at home.
Hmm.
But like even living in Europe where for the summer and I can go to the beach and all these people are running around in these little itty bitty Speedos. The women are going topless. No one looks at them sexually. It's just a body and no one
Hmm.
cares what they look like and their junk is hanging out everywhere. I
Hmm.
loved it. It was
Hmm.
liberating to be in that space. Don't get me wrong. I didn't go topless. I wasn't super comfortable with it, but
Yeah, I was just gonna ask if you're into like nudism,
I knew you
because
would.
yeah.
Let me just clarify. But it was nice to be around all these people that just
Mhm.
didn't care.
Yeah.
And then you come back here in California and
Hmm.
the entire coast, you just have to deal with this body image issue that's
Hmm.
happening.
Or just in America in general, like our media is inundated with like, okay, so like there's this new rapper, but he's not necessarily new, but Lil Nas X. He's a great
Oh,
looking
yeah.
guy, but he's also 21, 22, and he looks great in everything that he does. I'm not hating him on that, but it's like you see people say, yeah, I want black guys that look like that. And you're just like, not all
Okay.
black guys look like that. Or, when people look at girls like Kim Kardashian and say, I want a girl that looks like that. Whereas most girls, not most girls, let me not say that, a lot of girls don't really care that much about their appearance sometimes. But then the guys expect all girls to be like tens or models or something, or someone that only cares about how they look all day long. And that's not everyone. But
We
the
are
media has us confused that we are.
right. And to clarify, I'm going to say 90% of women, probably even higher, are aware of how we look. Now, whether or not we are trying to look like Kim Kardashian or just trying to look like the best version of ourselves, even if we are the type of person that's like, you know what, I'm going to go me. I'm not going to do my hair. I'm not going to wear makeup. I'm an all natural person.
Hmm.
It still does not mean that we are not aware of how we look and how our partner notices how we look or how we notice our partner noticing other people and how they look. So
Hmm.
at some point, no matter what our level is, we are experiencing it at some degree at some point in our lives.
Hmm.
And as we age, especially for women, I don't know, maybe you can talk about how it is for men, but it gets harder and harder for us.
Hmm.
It just gets more difficult and you have to make the choice of I don't care
Hmm.
or I'm going to do more.
When you say do more, what do you mean? Like health wise, like eating
Okay, I'm going to
better?
change my diet. I'm going to change my exercise regimen.
Hmm.
um
And it's interesting you bring it up because I was out to lunch today with a group of friends, and one friend is I don't want to say too much because okay, one friend is an actor. They were famous at one point. They're aging, and they were mentioning that this botched plastic surgery that they got, and I was just sitting there like, "Gosh, you are so beautiful." Like I wouldn't think that you feel the need to even have to do that. But I guess, when it comes to love, when it comes to like community, like we were talking about in that few episodes ago with Nicole about having a
Mhm.
community, when you don't feel like you have that, you feel like you have to do something to change your physical appearance to have a better life. And it makes me sad to know that not only is it women, but there's a lot of women who are getting older and some gay men and straight men. 'Cause I'm hearing these guys lately, straight guys talking about, oh, I haven't had sex since quarantine because I'm fat now and I would hate to be naked with a girl. I'm like, oh my God, I have never heard a guy sound like that before. But now straight guys are just like, starting to get those insecurity issues. And I think that's partly due to men's health, all these
Mhm.
superhero movies. So whereas I do see the women have a much harder time with aging because society has created like this idea that we're just supposed to forget about them after the age of 40 or even once they become moms. But then for men too, it's like this whole superhuman Superman, all the guys have to be at the top peak health. I mean, you have Brad Pitt looking like a sex god at like almost 70 years old. So now guys are like, I don't look like that. What do I do? How am I still going to find love if people think that all men who are getting older are, getting better in the gym, taking Viagra, doing this, doing that? How do I even compete? So I feel like a lot of body image issues comes down to I just want to find love and be accepted. If for some weird reason I think I need to do this to get that.
Yeah, I mean, I think men are feeling more comfortable about talking about it, but I have a funny feeling men have been thinking this for a while. You
Yeah.
know, I think that's part of the reason why, as men age, are attracted to younger women. And I know it's very frustrating for women, myself included, of course,
Hmm.
as I'm aging, am I finding that men that I'm interested in are interested in younger? I
Hmm.
don't know. I mean, they're disappointed when they find out how old I really am. When I go on
Really?
a date with a guy, and I mean, for those of you who can't see me, have never seen me, like, I think I actually look pretty young for my age, and most people think I'm still in my 30s, and I'm not. I'm in my
You are
40s.
not in your 30s?
And
Wow. And I'm
so
not saying that to be an asshole. Like I never asked your age or anything like that.
I don't
But
act my age, to be fair. It's not saying I'm immature, but I try not to act my age. But yeah, like, I see it on their face. They're slightly disappointed when I'm like, yeah,
wow,
like
what a
I'm in my
shame.
40s. They're like, oh, I thought I was going on a date with someone in their 30s. And I'm like, does it matter?
Yeah, like what is their ideas? Like were they trying to have I mean, I don't know what your future plans are, but it's like I wonder what's the disappointment that goes on cuz like I it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I don't know because they don't get a second date because I see it on their face and immediately I'm like, no, I know where this is going.
Mm.
So moving on from you, move on
So,
to the next
do
one.
you think it's a body image or do you think it's ageism? Like, what exactly? Like, I'm trying to like wrap my, because for me, I've always liked older men. Even when I was like 17 years, okay, even when I was 18 years old,
Mhm.
I was hooking up with men that were 3, 4, 5, sometimes, okay, no, 2 to 3 decades older, sometimes
Right.
maybe four. And that didn't intimidate me. And I also like guys that were closer to my age. So when you hear you say that and a guy gets disappointed as soon as you tell him like why? Like is it
I,
kids? Is it some kind of physical act? Is it to help? Do they feel like their age is now being mirrored and it's just too much of a shock to them? Like,
so I think there's a couple things. I think for some, it is about kids. It
okay.
is about wanting to still have a family. And if they find out that you're older and you haven't gotten to that conversation yet about family, they're
Hmm.
disappointed because they're thinking, oh, well, I still want to have kids. Maybe I still want to have two or three biological kids. If you're in your 40s, that's probably not going to be realistic.
Mm.
So I do think that's a huge part of it. The other part of it, I think, is that men will, let me rephrase, people in general will want someone to present their best self. So my partner is beautiful, then I am validated by my partner's beauty. I am validated by my partner's youth. So I'm dating someone who's younger. Look how cool I am. Isn't she beautiful?
Ah.
And she's younger than me and she's so into me. So it validates them.
Also, it's an ego boosting
Mhm.
situation. Instead of just looking for love, that's just more of a equal mate. 'Cause there's nothing more. I think there's nothing better than having a partner that you kind of feel like you're on the same level with. Like I've
Yeah.
been in situations where it kind of feels like the guy I was dating with felt like my dad. And there's also been situations where I kind of felt the guy I was dating was a little bit too immature for me. Like, there was no training, I guess you would say. So it's interesting that for that kind of guy, it's like, oh, wow, she's much younger than me. So that must mean I still got it, which is kind of a mind fuck in a way,
It's a little narcissistic.
a little bit.
But
Mm.
coming out of the pandemic now, people are struggling with their weight.
Mhm,
Some people have been able to really focus in on their health and fitness and have lost a lot of weight. But you
mhm.
do have those like myself who kind of pulled the pandemic 15,
Was
20,
it
maybe.
COVID-19? Some people have been saying I got the COVID. Well, let's not say that, but
Right.
yeah.
And it's funny because our guest today
Hmm.
um, actually helped me during the pandemic to lose some of the weight. Of course, I ended up gaining it back, but let's not tell him before he gets on.
I gained weight too. Like I went to the doctor recently, and I usually before the pandemic, I average around like 180. And then I went recently, I'm like 190 now. And I was like, whoa, what happened?
Wow, you don't
So
look like you even start at 180.
I think it's because I'm so tall. I think that helps.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But you look
Yeah.
fit. So,
Yeah. Well, I'm wondering if it was muscle, like because I've been riding my bike and walking more. I kind of thought maybe it was that, but still, 10 in your mind, you're thinking, "Oh my God, I gained 10 pounds.
yeah,
I am a fat beast. What is happening? I am like gorging on food, drinking 2 bottles of wine a night. I have to stop."
right. Cheers.
Cheers, as I drink some more red wine.
Yes. And as we both do that, we are going to go ahead and introduce you all to our guest today, Mickey Jimerson.
Yay, Mickey.
Hey, Mickey, I'm so glad you're here with us.
Hey, Mickey. You. No, can't hear you. I just see lips moving.
You got to unmute yourself, dude.
There we go. Do you hear me now? There we go. Oh my.
Woo.
I love that you're here with us today because I, like, full disclosure, was just admitting how you helped me lose some weight. And then all of a sudden I'm like, oh man, now I got to admit I gained it back.
I'm like, I gained it back too. I'm just like, when you were like images, I mean, that's why I have this beard now, because it's like this transfer. I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm going to challenge myself. I can't shave until I get to a certain weight. So I'm like, this is the scruffy, Mickey, this is it. I have the hat on because it's horrible up there.
I mean, you
So
look good. We can only see part of you, but but we can see you look good. So
Yeah, it's like when
thank
you're
you.
in that situation, you go through the whole, I'm just gonna let it all just work itself out while I work out. And then when it's time to come out again, I'm gonna get my beard shaved off, I'm gonna get my fresh cut, I'm gonna be looking fit, and then everybody's gonna be like, wow, where were you these last 6 months? You're like in a cave working out.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm waiting for that summer. What is it that you women call it? You call it the summer something. It was on TikTok. I was watching on TikTok where the women, it's like summer something, and the guys, I'm looking for the summer. I have to be tight and everything, and so but I'm gonna get there.
like
Eventually.
our
I'll
summer
get there.
beach bod.
Yeah, I forgot what they call it. I forgot what all those young kids call it. But anyways.
Right, I'm too old to know.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know, is it hot girl summer? I don't know.
Okay,
What
so
motivates you to stay in shape though? What keeps you going with that?
What motivates me? Just me in general. Like I just don't. I don't want to look sloppy. I don't want to like. You don't want to look sloppy. So that's the most important thing. You know. I mean, but I saw you sipping on something. What are you sipping on? See, what are you
Oh, we're
drinking?
having a little
Oh,
wine.
we're having.
Oh, okay.
we-
You guys have wine. I got Jack and Coke. See, so we're
Oh,
good.
this
We're
is
good.
great.
We are good. Yes.
This worked out perfectly. I mean, it is 4 in the afternoon, so it's like it is kind of time to like have a
Yes.
cocktail, if you were to be honest.
Absolutely. As we talk about body image, we're all drinking.
Yeah.
Hey,
Well,
you know,
I mean, they say a little bit of if moderation, right?
absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Hey,
Well, thank you for being on our show today. It was Andrea's idea to do this episode about, body image and love and, how to like navigate that whole world and how each influences the other sometimes, just what you saying before about, trying to look your best. You don't want to look sloppy. Like I'm thinking in my mind, is that because like, is it for a mate? Is it fully for self? Like sometimes our motivation sometimes to look our best,
you
sometimes
know,
it's a little bit beyond just, for ourselves.
full disclosure, I'm not even gonna lie to you. I'm not gonna lie. Like my daughter is like, my oldest is like, Dad, you're fat. So I'm just like, oh shit. Like,
Oh shit.
am I allowed to cuss on here?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
okay. I just want to make sure, So I was like, shoot, okay. I'm looking in the mirror. I'm like, I mean, I'm not bad, but I was like, I mean, when she says something, it like hurts. Like it's like, okay, you know what? I got to get back. I got to get back to
Kids
where I
can be
was.
brutal.
Yes. So
Yeah. They don't
So
usually have that filter.
so my challenge, and I don't know if you guys will want to accept this challenge. My challenge is to get back down to 190, 185 in 2 months, and then go skydiving again.
What?
Yeah, see, yes, that's what I'm saying. See, you got to come up with something that is going to motivate you, and you get out and you do what you got to do. See,
That's a powerful goal. Why skydiving?
because it was fun. The first time I did this, I grew this full on beard and I had this. The hair was out, and so once I did it, I posted it's on YouTube. Yeah, it was like because I'm afraid of heights, so that was like one of those like, okay, you know what, I'm attached to this guy, and this guy, I'm entrusting this guy that this parachute is gonna open, and so yeah, so that's why, yeah. So.
Thought is making me nervous.
Yeah, I'm like getting stress sweats just thinking about it.
Oh
So
my
yeah,
gosh.
so you guys are all willing to join me. I mean, if you guys want to do this in 2 months, I mean, I'm just saying.
The skydiving part, or just have a goal to
I'm
get
talking-
me down to.
I'm talking about the skydiving part,
Oh.
but the goal is the goal, skydiving,
I'll get on board with the challenge of the weight loss,
Yeah.
but maybe not so much the skydiving side of it.
I mean, you guys are all skinny. What are you talking about? Like,
You can only see from, we'll be real, you can only see my boobs up right now. So
Yeah. Wait, do you have to be a certain weight to skydive?
You got to be under 250, which I'm fine. I'm good now if I wanted to do it right now, but it's just the goal of, I'm like, 190, 185 looks good for me.
And what's your height?
I am 5'11". Well, I'm 5'11", but they will say that I'm 6 foot, but I'm 5'11".
Okay.
So.
All right. Yeah, it's like so much emphasis, I feel like, out here in LA on like, your body weight proportions and stuff like that. Like, Andrea, what were you mentioning earlier before you came on about like the beach? Like seeing the people, just.
the beach here?
Yeah.
The beach here is just like, especially when it's that packed, you just see all types. You see these women that have these rockin' bods. Some of them have fake boobs. They got the thong bikinis on, and then you got the mom bods that just let all it jiggle and hang out. And I'm like, I don't want that. So how do we fix this problem that we have, where some women have very bad body image? They have serious issues with body image, and when you're trying to date when you are single and trying to date and you're having these issues of, I'm not liking my body,
Mhm.
and someone else can look at you and go, wow, but you look good. Like, how do we feel better about our bodies? Like, how do we lose the weight just enough? What amount is just enough? Like, what are your
Yeah,
thoughts?
like, yeah, that's a great question.
Are you asking, or are we
You were
okay?
asking you. We
You
want to know.
well, you know, I mean, we all go through that. Like I go through that when I hit my goal of 185. I looked at myself and I was still like, I gotta do something different. I gotta change up. It's just when you are so, because I started out as being, I started out at 280 pounds. If I had a picture,
Wow.
I'd show you, but I was 280 pounds, and so going down to 185, you know, you still look in the mirror because you're like you're like, oh gosh, you know, I still look, you're looking in the mirror and stuff is still, you feel as if you're still fat. And so it's just that self-talk, that self-talk, and like, okay, you know what? I am not 280 no more. I am not 220. I am 185. I look good. And then so what I did was I started taking pictures of myself. And then I started feeling better about myself, because I was looking, I was okay, I'm not that bad. And then I would get other people to look at the pictures and be like, oh, you look good, which people were already saying it in the first place. But
Mhm.
you know, it was that confirmation, because when you are like, but I commend all those people who, you know, those big girls who get out there with the two-piece and then they're just
Yeah, I
like,
love that.
hey, like,
Yeah.
I mean, I just can do, and those guys that had the like the man boobs, and they're just like, oh yeah, you know, I'm good, I'll take my shirt off and they're happy. I mean, I don't think I have that. So
Kudos to them.
I just can't do it.
Yeah.
But that's me. But that's how I did it. I took pictures of myself, and I let people say. So I guess it was more so, it was other people, saying I looked good, and me feeling okay. If they're saying I look good, okay, I'm gonna agree with them.
Trust what they're saying.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna trust what they're saying. And it shouldn't be, I don't think it should be that way,
No.
but I think that's how I dealt with it. And but that's just how I dealt with it.
I feel like there's a lot of us need validation sometimes, especially because everything is so based on how we look and the jobs we have, all of these exterior things that just make up the package of who we are when we present ourselves in the world. I too used to be like 260 something pounds and got down to like 170 and up around to 185. And I kept like pictures of me shirtless with my gut hanging out. And honestly, every time I would see them, I'm like, that is enough to keep me from not allowing myself to like get back up to that weight again. But the thing is, if I were to be totally honest about what really motivated me to get in my best shape, was I was dating this guy in the past. He was this Dutch dude, tall, blonde hair, blue eyes, yada, yada, yada. And one day he just said to me, he says, I like you, but I really don't date fat dudes. And after I heard that, I was in the gym every single day for like 90 days, taking all the best supplements. I was like jacked. And even after all that, it still wasn't enough for him. He still played me. So I'm just like, okay,
Wow.
so this body image issue I have now, I need to work on, because I'm thinking this is what I need to be able to get a relationship, get a better job. And really, all it's doing to me is creating like these weird habits, thinking that I need to do that in order to be successful at love or relationships. So
And you really don't. You really don't. You just have to have that self-confidence in yourself. And I mean, but it's easy to say, but it's hard to do, because just in this society that where everybody's looking at this woman over here or this guy over here, and it's just it's tough. It's tough. It's extremely tough.
yeah, I agree.
Especially when you're in the relationship, like I feel like I only start dating again when I'm feeling really good about my body. Like when it's feeling a little flabby and pudgy, I kind of stop for a while and then I start dating again. But then I get into the relationship and you start to kind of let yourself go a little bit. You know, I was telling Canaan earlier about this guy that I was dating during the pandemic, and how, you know, we both were pretty fit when we first started dating, but then we started, you know, snacking and drinking like a bottle of wine every night. And I noticed like both of us were starting to get a little pudgy, and it's just like, I don't feel very attractive anymore. And now it's changing the whole dynamic of our relationship. So really what we needed to do is to like try and get fit together. Or do you think that, you know, a couple changing their diet can help them get back on track with their weight?
Well, it just all depends on the two individuals, because you might have one person who's like, okay, I'm going to do this, I'm going to eat right, I'm going to do what I have to do, but then the other person is not as dedicated as you. So you just have to be on the same page, and that right there it's tough. It's extremely tough, because just like I said, it might be work might get in the way, or the person just might not feel as motivated as you might be like, I'm gonna get out here and I'm gonna run 5 miles a day, or I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna do that, and the other person's like, oh yeah, go, you go do that, you know. And you know, you're just like looking at them, and so it changes the whole dynamic, because you're sitting there like, I'm getting fit, and you're looking at yourself, you're looking good, but then you're looking at that other person like, and you don't want to be mean or anything and be like, are you gonna go work out? Are you gonna go do this? But I think that's how it is. And if both of the people aren't on the same page, then it could change things. It could change the dynamics of their relationship, because you know you're not on the same page with the exercise. And I've heard a lot of people, a lot of my friends who go to the gym, my friend was talking about starting an app where, you know, where it was like, do you like to work out? Do you like to do this and stuff like that? Because he felt as if, you know, hey, if I can get this person who likes the same things that I like, you know, we'll be able to, you know, coexist. But it might not work. That, I mean, it seems like opposites attract more so than, but I don't know. I mean, you're the dating person.
I mean, Kanan and I were talking about it earlier today, actually, about how, you know, I was telling him this story about these two clients that I had. I'm in a pretty small town, and they go to the same gym. They don't know each other, I don't think. And I really kind of considered setting them up with each other, because they're those personalities where they like to go to the gym for a long period of time. They're constantly both talking about people that they're meeting at the gym. It happens to be the same gym. But it's like, it's a lifestyle choice. That is a very clear lifestyle choice. And if you have a partner who isn't into the same types of workouts, you know, or working out as much, it affects your body, it affects your motivation. So, you know, when you're talking about going to the gym and meeting people there, is there some type of dating etiquette?
Yeah.
I don't know. You women are like crazy when you go to the gym. I mean, women just wear any and I wouldn't say any and everything. Women just don't wear anything.
Yeah.
You don't
Clam
leave
show galore
you
sometimes.
don't leave anything to the imagination. It's just like, I'm just like, really? Like, okay. But I mean, I don't know. I mean, is there? I don't think there is. I don't know.
Do people ever approach you? Because Andrea mentioned that you do personal training.
Yes.
And like, let's say you were single, how would it be for someone to approach you? Like, you're working, you're also sweaty, may not feel like you're most confident. Like, do you think that's a good atmosphere to even approach people, or we should just keep those two things separate?
You can approach people. I mean, I've had people who I've been introduced to when I'm like I'll be training somebody else, and then they will approach them and be like, oh, hey, what is his name? What is his number? I want to train with him, and then build that relationship with people. So that's how most of my people have. I've got most of my people is that I'm training somebody else and they'll see we're having fun and they're like, oh, it looks like you're having fun. Who is, they won't approach me per se, they'll approach the person I'm training. Then we go from there, then it goes from there. So that's how that.
Is there any chance they're trying to approach you because of an attraction?
Oh, you know, some of, yes. I mean, yes, there are some who feel that that's an easy way to get in. You know, hey, you know, you're my personal trainer, blah blah blah, and you know, hey, and so yeah, they do that, you know, but you know, you set those boundaries in the end. You set the boundaries because you don't want your business to just because like I said, I have friends who are like, you know, hey, Mickey, you should do this. And I'm like, no, I shouldn't, you know, because I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to be that guy to be like, oh yeah, he, you know, have somebody's husband, you know, upset at me and you know, because there are stories and you know, but yeah, there are like there's just one story. I'll give you a story. Like,
oh yeah, story.
I was training this one lady. She was going to her daughter was going to my daughter's school, and every morning I would be running. I would run like three or four miles, and so my daughters, you know, we just knew each other. We see each other when we pick up our daughters. So I was training her, and so what would happen is that the daughter would come home and talk about me to the dad, and so as I was training her in the morning, the dad would the wife would come and be like, oh well, yeah, such and such was talking about you, you know, and so I was running one day, and he actually called his wife and was like, hey, why is Mickey going to visit? He's running down to your job. And she's like, what? Like, Mickey's not running down to my job. What are you talking about? And it's like, but you know, but those were the things that were happening. I was so that was one story. Then the other story was that one husband, he came to one of my friends' house. I was doing a boot camp, and he was like, are you the trainer? My friend's like, no, I'm not the trainer. I just hosted here. And it's like, you know, but that's just the way that I am. I'm just a friendly type person. And when I'm training people, we have fun. We talk about any and everything, and we just have fun with it, and people get results. And so, but you know, I can understand, you know, if your relationship is not where it should be, and then you have this guy who's sitting there, he's listening to you, and it's like, well, my husband doesn't do that. So, you know, I'm gonna go to him more often because he's gonna at least listen to me. He's gonna hear me. He's gonna, you know. So those are some of those stories that, you know.
How important do you think? See, these people are, they're working out and they're talking to you. They're sharing all these deep things, kind of like you're almost like a therapist in a way when they're with you. Do you think that the body image is as important as they progress through things and it becomes less important because then it becomes just about their mindset and how they think? Or do you think the two kind of work together? Like, does taking care of your health equal a better mindset and a better way of going about life? Like, do you think they're linked together?
I think they are in I would say most cases, but there are some who I will say, as far as I go, as far as me training, I think a few of them just want that interaction. They're not, they want to get in shape, but getting in shape is secondary to just being around somebody who's going to listen. But for the most of them, you know, if you can do both, if you can listen and get their and change their body just a little bit. I mean, if you can get them like from a size 8 to a size 7, they're like, oh my gosh, Mickey, you are so amazing, you know. But so I would think for the most cases, I think that they intertwine. But then for some, it's just that they just want that interaction, that they just want to be like listened to. That's one of the, and that was what I was trying to tell Andrea, is that I want to be that life coach because that's basically all I'm doing. I mean, I'm life coaching more than I'm training. It's just, okay, hey, this is what we're gonna do. You know, but all they want to do is talk. They just, oh,
Yeah.
Mickey, well, what about this? Well, what about this? But I just haven't got the courage to just be like, okay, you know what? Here are my prices. Here's this. You
Yeah.
know, but yeah, that's I think that's the main.
That's
That's one
what's
of the
so
biggest things.
interesting about body image and the way you work with it, because it seems like at the end of the day, that's not the most important thing. Like we think that we have to have like this certain look to have the life that we want, but you're here telling us that even throughout all of that, throughout working through or helping them drop that one size, it's their mindset that really changes more so than just their body. So it's like, I always wonder, like, how important is it for us? Because all jokes aside, there's people say, a guy will have sex with anyone. They don't really care, fat, skinny,
It's
short,
so not even
tall.
true.
And I've heard it as a joke, but it basically what they're trying to say is, we think that body image is important, but really at the end of the day, it's not. We just want someone to connect with and someone that like just accepts us for who we are. And that's what you're doing with these clients. And I think that's awesome.
And
Um,
I think a lot of women are looking for validation. They're looking for someone to listen to them and to compliment them. And as a trainer, you have to. That's the only way to motivate is to tell them you're doing a good job, keep going, you got this, you can do this. Like
mhm.
all of these positive affirmations that you're giving them to take with them, their partners don't do. And so there's probably like this weird connection, this weird bond that's being created. And now their physical weight training, diet training, whatever you're doing with them is turning into, like you said, more of a like a life coaching because they haven't had that connection. And now they're feeling safe with you because you're making them feel secure.
And doesn't that apply to relationships, Andre, as well? Isn't that all we're
Absolutely.
looking for?
They're creating a relationship with you. It's not
Basically.
a sexual one or an intimate one. Don't get me wrong, but it is a relationship nonetheless.
This is slightly off topic, and I wanted to get your opinion on this, Mickey. What do you think? Because you mentioned it earlier in a story you were talking about, where like one part of the relationship, one couple isn't as into working out as the other is. Now, I've seen these relationships out here where the guy is kind of like overweight, doesn't really take the best care of himself, but he demands that the girl that he is seeing or the guy that he is seeing is in tip-top shape, is a 10, is a model, works out all the time, yada, yada, yada. Do you think that's healthy, or is that just someone like relying too much on body image once again on a superficial level? Like, what are your thoughts on that?
I think that those types of relationships are the ones in which the woman, she comes to me and now or she goes to the gym and she's working out and she finds another person who is going to listen to her, who's going to who they might have something in common. So she's going to have her what do they call it, the husband at the gym, and then you
Mm,
have the husband who is the husband, and that's how those things. Because I had a friend, he formed a relationship with he was having issues at his house. At his
mhm,
house, his wife wasn't going to the gym. She was just she was working and she was doing stuff, and then he was going to the gym. He met somebody he felt he
mm,
had a bond with, and and they were both married, and then he ended up messing with her, and she left her husband for him, and she showed up at his door, and then that just messed up their whole their yeah, that messed up everything. But I'm saying, because I have another lady right now who wants to train. She's been wanting to train with me, but her husband is constantly saying, okay, you gotta go work, or you gotta go work out. And so she's coming to me, but the husband, he's seen me and he feels threatened by me, so he doesn't allow her to work. He doesn't allow her to train with me, even though I don't think of her in that way, but
mhm.
but he feels threatened by, like, oh, well, she's gonna go off with the trainer, she's gonna go meet somebody else. So I'll say that I mean, I think you have those men, because I think it's mainly I think it's mainly men. Men want their wives to be those. A lot of men want to have that trophy wife, and then
Like yeah.
so
Without naming names, yeah.
yeah. So I think those are the women who
Mhm.
go out and form other relationships with other guys, like at the gym or just at the supermarket, or just somebody who's going to sit there. All you have to, I mean, conversation is everything. If the husband is not conversating with the wife, then you go to the gym or you go to the grocery store, and the woman's like, oh, you're talking to me. Oh, I had a nice conversation. Well, here's my number. You could call me. You could text
Mhm.
me at this. But they're searching for things in which the husband or the wife is not giving them. So yeah. So I
It's
don't know if that
crazy
answers your
that you
question.
say that
It
because
is
yeah,
so crazy.
it's not about the weight, it's not about the body image anymore. Now it's about another need. So is
Mhm.
body image really all about just the body, or is it really just about being appreciated, feeling like you're attractive? You could be a 200-pound female, and as long as your partner thinks you're beautiful, it says you're beautiful, appreciates who you are, does it matter?
It doesn't. I mean, it doesn't at all.
Yeah.
I don't think it doesn't matter. But we as humans, I mean, I appreciate the fact, like, now on commercials you see these bigger women. You see
Yeah.
these bigger women now. I'm like, because back in the 90s you see these supermodels, real skinny women. Now you see these plus size. I mean, even though they're not really plus size women, they're plus size. They're thick. See, but
Yeah.
I don't. Oh wait, you guys might be able to explain this, because we had this debate at work all the time. There is thick, and there's thick, and there's thick. I
Yeah.
mean, it's like I don't understand it, because I'm like, I think Megan Thee Stallion is thick, but my friends will say Megan Thee Stallion is skinny. So it's like you have.
Yeah.
So it's like what's
It seems like
society.
anything over size 4 is considered thick or something. No, seriously.
Yeah, you're curvy
Yeah.
now thick. Yeah.
Yeah, because I remember when they were some of the first plus size models weren't even really plus size. They were just like a size 8 girl with maybe an extra 10, 15 pounds on them. Or maybe they had bigger breasts than most petite girls. And all of a sudden they're considered like plus size, like Christina Hendricks, the girl from Mad Men, the
Oh yeah,
redhead.
yeah, her
She's
boobs are
considered,
huge.
but
But
she's
her
considered plus size, but she's tiny. She's a tiny lady,
Well,
yet she's considered plus.
everything is tiny about her except her boobs. Her boobs are
Yeah,
huge. I mean, I
yeah.
saw
But
what
those make her
Good
plus.
Girls. Yeah,
Yeah,
Good
but those
Girls.
make her plus. Yeah.
I mean,
It's
but
ridiculous what I think society does for plus. That's why I love nudism, low key. I'm not even gonna lie. Because when I did it, no, seriously, my first time doing it was in New Jersey. There was this beach called Gunnison Beach, and we have basically views of Lower Manhattan, and it was like out on a a federal park, all the way at the end. It's families went, straight, gay, it really didn't matter. All kinds of people were there. You see like little toddlers with their parents, everyone was nude. And the thing that I loved about it is that there were all kinds of bodies. It was really nice looking male bodies, really nice looking female bodies, not so nice looking male bodies, not so nice looking female bodies. But what I loved about it is that it teaches you to accept all kinds of bodies and to know that bodies come in so many shapes and sizes. And I will say that I hate that nudism and naturism has been sexualized in this country to the point where people can't even look at a nude body without thinking, oh, they want to do something nasty or something sexual, when really it's just an appreciation of our bodies as is. And I think as long as we demonize naturism and nudism, people are going to have body image issues. So I love places like that because, I mean, the sex side can be a little intimidating, even for me as a gay man. Like sometimes I just want to go and just hang out nude and that's it. It doesn't always have to be, oh, let's do something. But I do appreciate those places that create an atmosphere where it allows people to embrace their bodies and love their bodies as is. And I feel like in this country, we are needing that so freaking bad. Like we're spending all these hours in the gym when it's really not fixing what's really going on. Is the fact that we don't love ourselves as is. And that's the real problem. Like, what are your thoughts on that?
I would agree with that. Like in Europe, don't they have a lot of those like swingers and nudist type stuff out there where it's not, sex is not, it's not like demonized. It's like, okay, you go to these nudist places, and you can have your family there, you can have whoever there, and everybody is comfortable with that there. But here in America, you try to do that, and people will like, no, what are you doing? You're the devil, you know?
Yeah, women can't even go topless in this country, which is wild to me. I'm like, what is the difference between, like, here's an interesting, what is his name? Evan Page. I may be fucking up his name, but he used to be Ellen Page, right? He's an actor that's in the show. It's in a Netflix show, superheroes. Anyway, he was a woman before. So every picture of him before, he could never show his chest, right? As soon as he says, I identify as a man, all of a sudden he takes his shirt off, and Instagram does not censor his nipples. So I'm like, okay, so all a woman has to basically do is just say, I identify as a man, and then go online and just take their fucking shirt off. It is so, our body image issues are so fucked because of weird ass laws like that and stuff that teaches you, no, cover yourself up, be ashamed of your body. And it's just, it's so weird. It's so weird.
I kind of want to test this theory out and like create an Instagram page and specifically say, I identify as a man, and like pull my hair back and, you know, take my shirt off and be like, you know, censor me now.
No,
I mean,
are you comfortable with that?
Not really.
Yeah. But it would be a really good social experiment because it
would
just,
be.
yeah, because it kind of shows the hypocrisy of it all.
I mean, you probably have women who probably do it too. They'd be like, oh shoot, you know, I do that, you know. So
yeah.
But go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you have to apologize. But I want to say thank you for like chit-chatting with us today and talking about body image issues, because it seems like you kind of get it, that it's really not about the physicalness at the end of the day.
No, it's not. It's not. It's a mental thing. It's more of a mental thing with the individual. If the individual has always been a certain, or has been told that they're big, or that they're this, and that they take that throughout their life, and it's sad to say, but that's what we do. We do that with our kids. We do that with people. We, you know, society does that, and so it's going to take a lot of work to change society, society's outlook on body. Instead, like your body is not, it's important, but hey, how do you connect with this person?
Exactly.
I mean, and so, yeah, so.
Even when you mention, on one last note, I'm gonna give it back over to you, Andrea. Even when you mentioned before, where you were talking about the other guys being intimidated by you when they would see you as a trainer, like in my mind, I'm thinking at the end of the day, that guy is having his own quote unquote body image issues being transferred through his jealousy, thinking that that's what it takes to keep his woman, when really it's because he's not paying her any fucking attention.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely. It's as simple as that. And people don't understand that. People just think that, oh, you see somebody who might look better than you, or I mean, not even look better, but somebody you feel that looks better than you. And it's like, oh, well, you know, this person looks better than me. That's why my wife is going over here. No, it's because your wife wants you to listen to her. Your wife wants you to have a conversation with her. Your wife wants you to do all the, not just come home and be like, okay, hey, I need you to do this. I need you to do this. I need you to do this. You know, it's not about that. It's just about, you know, so yeah. So
I love that you're a trainer who can be there for his clients to support them outside of the weight, outside of the fitness, outside of the body image. You know, even though you might not be really pushing the whole life coaching side quite yet, you are all encompassing with your clients. And it's really important because there's a lot of trainers out there that just focus in on the physical, and you are more about the physical and the mind and the soul and the emotional side of everything. So I appreciate that. If you could give our listeners one really important takeaway about body image, what do you think you would tell them? What would you tell a client?
I would tell them, just be happy with yourself. I mean, you have to love yourself first. I mean, that's the that's that's the first thing. If you don't love yourself, I don't care if you lose 150 pounds, you're still gonna think that you're fat. So love yourself, learn to love yourself. If you have to tell yourself in the mirror, stand in the mirror and be like, I am beautiful, I am this, I am that, do that, because it is a life-changing experience when you can stand in the mirror and just say, I am amazing, I love myself. I mean, you just feel a certain, like, have you ever done that where you just stood in the mirror and just looked directly in the mirror and just was like, I love myself, I love my body, I mean, because once you really feel that, and you have that passion for yourself, I don't care if you're 100, I don't care if you're 250 pounds, because there are 250-pound people who love themselves, who will take their shirt off in a minute and be like, I don't care, world, but this is who I am, and still get women, still get nice looking women, or vice versa, big women getting nice looking guys. So it's all about loving yourself, having that self-confidence of, to tell yourself that you are beautiful. So yeah, so that's what I would.
So
I love it.
everyone is beautiful, and then we need to start seeing it like that. Everyone is freaking beautiful in their own way.
Yes.
Absolutely. And on that note, our listeners, you are also beautiful. For
Yes.
today, I would like to challenge you, all of you listeners, to stand in front of the mirror tonight and remind yourself that you are beautiful, you're handsome. Find a word that really resonates for you and tell yourself at least 50 times. Stand in front of that mirror, find a positive word that you like, and tell yourself, I am beautiful, I am handsome, I am sexy, I am amazing. And until next time, thanks for listening.